Hello, my name is Em, and it has been too long since I was last on here, but I would like to welcome you to this video and apologize for having been gone so long. I didn't plan to be gone as long as I was. Yeah, I had recorded some things and I just didn't like what I recorded, so then I was like, I'll just wait until I record a version that I like. And then I never recorded that version. And so then that results in no videos. And yeah, so I'm not proud of that. Usually I haven't, in the last couple of years I've been recording videos. I haven't taken as much of a break until I get to fall where all bets are off. Like I love getting caught up in the fall, being outside, all of the things that come with it. So usually that's when I fall off the radar. But yeah, this time no. That's not my excuse. It's just spring. That's all. So anyway, I figured while I'm getting warmed up and back into recording again, I figured I would talk about something that I am comfortable talking about right off the bat, which is books. I love books. And typically when I'm trying to find the next book that I want to read, I'll just call the library and I'll just speak with somebody who recommends books and give them an idea of what type of genre I'm looking for, which depends on my mood. By the way, if you are a reader, please tell me down below how you determine what your next book is going to be. Yeah, but for me, it just depends on what I'm feeling. And lately, I've been really wanting a good page turner. There's something about, I don't know what it is, maybe because it's storming so much, it's just setting the tone for, a good page turning type book. So I went to the library. They recommended a few of them. I can't talk today. They recommended a few books. A few of them I already gotten through, but I figured since I haven't fully read this book that I'm going to mention, I feel like it's safe for me to talk about it. So for this book, it's called The Breakdown by B.A. Paris. And it's interesting. When I read just the inside cover of it, or actually when the librarian read the synopsis, it sounded intriguing, right off the bat. Like, this woman in the midst of a storm is she's driving out, and she sees a car on the side of the road, and notes that there's a woman in the car. And long story short, or beginning of the story short, she finds out the next day that a woman on that road was found murdered. And so this begins to haunt her for many reasons. And on top of that, so that's something that she's struggling with. And then on top of that, she's being very forgetful in her everyday life. And so I find it fascinating because it makes me think, just early impressions, that we are dealing with an unreliable narrator, which I find to be a fascinating concept. So I have no idea how this is going to go. I don't know how it's going to end. I don't know how this thing happens to the woman or any details like that. But I figured while I'm early in the book, this is a good time to give some kind of impression. Why not? But yeah, I like playing around with a different kind of narrator. Like, I like books that are in first person, but we have the typical thing. Usually we don't really question who's telling a story. And I think, of course, on many levels this applies. Like, even we can question who's writing the history books that we read and who's doing all, like, there's so many things where we just automatically typically trust whoever is relaying information to us. But then what about we factor in all the things that tie into that story that they are sharing? So in this case, of course, a character being forgetful, how much can I rely on what she's saying? Is there something does she have some involvement that I don't know about? I don't know. And I'm telling you, I truly don't know. I don't know anything yet. I'm not far into the book. So I just figured I would just share that and see what you think about the concept of just playing around with a narrator. And when you have the main character who has a point or something that they're struggling with that makes you question what they're about, how do you like that? Like, is that a kind of book that you've read? feel free to leave that down below, but I just figured I'd just share. Why not? But I want to thank you so much for watching. I'll be back next week with another episode. So please, until then, be safe, be well. Yeah, and I may be done with this book actually by the time I come back around. I just have found that reading has just always been a great escape for me. I recently had gone on vacation, and for vacation, I got a lot of books. I want to say I don't know how many I put on my e-reader, but I put on a lot of books on my e-reader, and it's been really great in helping me just not think about everyday life, not thinking about all the to-dos that I left behind, all those extra little tasks and work and all of that. Like, it really helps me just go away, and it's just a great point of conversation as well. I find it interesting. I'll share some of the stories with my husband. I'll tell him sometimes just the full story or part of it in case he wants to read it. Some of the books we might reread together, and so it just depends, but I find it so helpful for that. So that's my tangent. Anyway, I'll talk with you soon. Please, until then, stay safe, be well. Talk again. Bye for now.